Here I'm back. I'm here today to do a Netgalley TBR that I hope to focus on this summer. If you don't know what Netgalley is, it's a book review site, and because of the pandemic and there not being a lot of in-person conventions, I have relied a lot on Netgalley in the last couple of years because it's the predominant way that I get all my e-arcs. But because of the pandemic and because of all that stuff, my Netgalley ratio was always pretty bad, but now it's just like out of control. So I'm going to try to focus on 10 e-arcs this summer that I'm just going to try to read interspersely throughout it. And I wanted to tell you guys what's on the horizon. If you're interested, tell me in the comments what books you would like to see me review first. Some of these have come out already, some of these are about to come out. But let's get into it. Just got because it was Read Now for like 24 hours, and it's We're Never Getting Back Together by Sophie Gonzalez. Taylor Swift lyric is definitely in the title or inspired by. Here is this cover. It comes out in December, and here's a cover, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I'm just going to read the summary that I spy on Netgalley because it just interested me, and I've heard some really good things about this author. But the prequel is fans of American Royals and Anna Kay. A girl enters a reality dating competition to get revenge on her cheating royal relation ex-boyfriend and ends up falling for another girl on the show. In fact, the girl he cheated on her with. I love American Royals. It was one of my favorite series that I read recently. I think it's duology, but there's going to be another book called Rivals coming out soon. I love that. I've heard really good things about Anna Kay. Anna Kay was pitched to me almost like Pretty Little Liars, or not Pretty, but like Gossip Girl. So this one sounds great, and I hope to get to it soon. I may actually read it during Pride Month. We'll see. I'm doing a couple of reading challenges this month that are all Pride themed, so maybe this one will get picked. We will see. But it does come out in December, and I'm really excited to read this book. I have a couple other books by this author, but this one sounds the most intriguing to me for sure. That I got access to relatively frequency, and it's called Pretty Dead Queens by Alexis Stan. This is the same author that wrote The Ivies, which I didn't pick up, but this book sounds a little bit more intriguing. It comes out in October. Here is a picture, and then we'll talk a summary. I read this summary. It reminded me a lot of Nancy Drew, so I'm just going to review the brief summary on Netgalley, and I'll tell you why I'm interested in it. But it says, Seaview's High's homecoming queen is dead. She's not the first. From the critically acclaimed author of The Ivies comes a non-stop thrill about a decades-old mystery, copycat killing, and a teen who won't stop until she discovers the truth. Reminds me also a little bit of The Cheerleader that I read a while ago by Kara Thomas. Both are books I really did enjoy. I love the Nancy Drew mystery, especially in season 1 and 2. So this one seems right up my alley, a perfect Halloween themed read, and I'm really excited for it. So hopefully I get to read it soon. I tend to read a lot of thrillers in the summer because they're quick paced novels, so hopefully this is true for that one as well. What I'm going to chat about is September release, and it is also eerie and creepy. It is by Adrienne Young. I don't know if this is a duology or not, but it sounds really interesting. It's called Spells for Forgetting. It comes out in late September, and here is a photo of the cover. This is another witchy themed novel, or at least the summary leads me to believe that. It's from New York Times bestselling Adrienne Young comes a deeply atmospheric story about ancestral magic and unsolved murder and second chance at true love. It follows Emery. Her best friend is found dead, and the love of her life is accused of murdering her years later. She goes back to this island running the family business. The island has a lot of folklore and magics, but when strange things start happening, she starts to think that the elements of her best friend's death may be connected to what's happening on the island. I'm really excited for this one. I love books about abandoned islands and like atmospheric and decades-long mysteries and magic. I'm excited. I've read a few things by Adrienne Young in the past and really have enjoyed it. That might have been a little bit of a weird summary, but I'm really excited for it. It's come out in September, and hopefully I'll get around to it soon for sure. Really excited for is coming out in August. It's called Belladonna. It's by Adeline Grace. I have read another book by Adeline Grace in the past that I really enjoyed. This one is a little bit more creepy and atmospheric. It also has to do with magic, but here is the stunning cover. It was pitched to me, or like the summary says, it's like a highly romantic, gothic infused world of wealth, desire, and betrayal. You follow this girl named Signa, and she's basically abandoned by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being. They all have met an untimely end, and she is sort of left with remaining relatives, the elusive Hathorns, and they have an estate that's both glittering and gloomy. And she's sort of left with her aunt and her uncle, and they all have sort of a claim that they want. Um, but it's suddenly revealed that maybe her mother's death wasn't what she thought it was, and maybe her mother was poisoned. So then she has to sort of work with the spirit of death to try to uncover what is happening, and it sounds really interesting. Perfect for like Halloween. These all sound like great Halloween reads. But yeah, I'm really excited for this, and I really did like her other book that I read, All the Stars and Teeth and All the Tides and Fate. That was a duology that had to do with like mermaids, and I really like that. So hopefully this one is just as good as that one, but really good. Comes out in August, and hope to get to it soon. I'm going to chat about is actually like a short story sort of collection. I think it's like 3 authors writing 3 tales that are all sort of interconnected. It is coming out in August. It's called 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight by Ronnie Chashki, Evelyn Sky, and Sanaya Manan. It's a fantasy themed story. It sounds really cool. The cover's really interesting, so here it is. This is another one of the books I got for like a free read for 48 hours, and it sounded really exciting, so that's why I picked it up. So this story follows 3 main characters named Ani, True, and Ash. They are a covenant, and they have a spellbinding novel about discovering the magic of true love on one fateful magical night in 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight. And everyone, the legend of 3 young women who perished at the stroke of 12 the same night, losing the life she was set to embark on with her deepest loved. Every century, 1 day a year, the ladies of the Moon Ridge descends from the stars to walk among townfolk, conjuring an aura those willing to follow in their heart's desires. This year, these 3 girls, they decide to sort of take up the task, become a covenant, and do a very, very similar thing. But they soon realize that nothing is simple as it first seems, and as midnight approaches, the covenant learns that it will take more than a spell to reconvene those who offer their love and embrace all the magic that follows. And they are hoping to weave art, science, and magic during a mask until, unlike any other Omni, True and Ash believe everything is in alignment to bring their affections of acceptance and healing that can only come from romance with a little help from Ani's grandmother's love potion. That sounds really, really good. I sometimes struggle with short story collections, but this one seems right up my alley. And I have read stuff by most of these authors, so I'm intrigued. Definitely want to read it. Has a very, very big romance plotline, but probably also does have some magic. Really excited. Comes out in late August, and I hope to read it soon. Hopefully. Hopefully get to read soon is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. This comes out, let me look it up. I think it comes out in does this one come out? I don't think it tells me. Oh, this one does also come out in August, and the summary just sounds really, really cool. Here is a photo. This is also the author that wrote The Bone Houses and The Hearts That We Sold, which I have read both of them, but this one sounds even more intriguing than the previous 2 that I've read by this author, and they're all standalones, at least from what I can deduce in the summary. Follows a main character named Mer, and she is the last living water diviner, and she has a lot of power, but she is sort of sent on the run from the prince that has been bound her into service, and she's sort of running away because she doesn't want to work with him anymore. But when her handler comes out of the woodwork, sort of telling her under the prince's door, she's located the wells of the enemies and has poisoned them without her knowledge, causing hundreds of deaths. After discovering what is Merritt went to great lengths to disappear from his reach. When Metzelt Andal returns with a proposition using her power to bring down the very prince that abused them both. So basically, she used her power in the past to sort of poison this water supply, and it led to a lot of deaths. She sort of went on the run, but when her hold handler comes out, they sort of hatch a plan to get back at the prince and take her out of her clutches. And it's sort of a ragtag group of people that have to sort of team up together to sort of save this, like, land. Sounds really interesting. It has elements of Six of Crows. It has also, like, the Chosen One element. I'm really excited and hope that I get to read it soon. And again, it does come out in August. So hopefully I get to read it soon. Again, another creepy read. So maybe I'll have to do like a creepy reading vlog this summer for you all and see if I like them all as much as I think I'm going to like them. So tell me in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in. I'm going to chat about is another book by an author that I read last summer. And this is Secrets So Deep by Jenny Meyer Sane. I read her other book last summer, and it had like a magical twist to it, like a light magic twist. Very, very eerie, very, very creepy. This one takes place at a drama camp. You could bet your butt I'm there. And here's the pretty cover. Netgalley says, from the best-selling author of Dark Shallow Lies comes a moody, atmospheric paranormal thriller, but a 17-year-old girl returned to exclusive theater summer camp to the truth of what happened 12 years ago, the night her mother drowned. This one is giving me vibes of Very Bad People by Kit Frick, which I didn't love as much. It was not as focused on the mother's issue as the mother mystery that I was hoping. Hopefully this one gives me what I was looking for in Very Bad People by Kit Frick. But it sounds great. I really liked her first novel. She did like the paranormal elements in like a really, really fun way, and hope to see that echoed in this book. But if you give me a book about a theater camp, I'm going to be there because I've worked at so many theater camps. I miss working at theater camps. I'm a drama teacher, so this one sounds really, really great. And maybe I'll even buy a copy and pass it on to my students when it does come out, because I have some girls in my class that love mysteries and thrillers. At least this year I do. There's always a couple, but this one sounds really exciting. In this video is another mystery thriller. I don't know, these books just sound so interesting. But it is called How to Survive Your Own Murder by Daniella Valente, and here is this pretty cover. It reminds me a little bit of Ion Killers by Barry Lega, but this is what this cover looks like. Of a couple of different books I've read in the past, but all these elements sound really, really great. You follow this main character, Alice, and she is sort of waiting to go to be a witness in her sister's murder trial, and her life has sort of fallen apart. Her parents got divorced. She's living in this apartment, and she's not living her best life, and she's sort of waiting to be a witness in her sister's murder trial. You know, her sister was always like the all-American girl, beautiful body, a theater star, and Alice was the nerd who really wanted to be like a forensic pathologist. But the day that she is supposed to go on trial for this murder or be a witness in this murder, she's knocked out by a Cindy Prescott lookalike in the courthouse, and when she wakes up, it's Holly and a year earlier, and the same day Claire was murdered, and Alice has until midnight to save her sister and find the real killer before he claims another victim. That sounds really, really interesting. So I'm intrigued. I hope that I get to read it soon, and hopefully you guys will like seeing my thoughts when I tackle it for you all. Do a bunch more thrillers because those are books that are just really screaming my name. And then my next video is going to focus on some physical contemporaries I have, but I'll talk about that in a different video. But the next book I'm going to chat about that is also coming out in August is These Fleeting Shadows, another August release, another eerie, creepy read. Another book that sort of meshed up a couple of my other tropes that I really have liked. And here's the cover. This is like Inheritance Game meets like Knives Out, I guess. But the Inheritance Game premise is very, very prevalent to this story, even though it's not common as that. But to me, it reminds me a lot of the Inheritance Games. But you basically follow this girl named Helen, and her mom have sort of escaped from their family home. But when their grandfather dies, they realize that she is the sole beneficiary of this title, and the only way she gets the money is if she stays on this property for a year. But this house has always haunted her. So when she kind of returns, she's going to sort of uncover why this house is haunting her and all the secrets it, is sort of uncovering. I love books about old houses. Like, old houses scare me to death. But reading about them, I'm really intrigued. And I like that it has, like, an element where she has to stay for a certain amount of time. That reminds me of the Inheritance game. And I'm really excited. It comes out in August. Actually on my birthday, which is really exciting. So hopefully I'll get to read it soon. And I will share my thoughts with you all. So the next book I'm going to talk about is the last book in this video, and it's called The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. I have read one book by this author. She has one other book that I have still on my TBR. I just haven't got around to reading it yet. This one actually just came out. It came out at the end of May, so I have missed reviewing it a little bit early, but I still hope to read it soon. And it's just like the perfect summer read. So here is a photo, and then we'll talk about the summary. So the summary is super simple, and it comes a twisty new thriller about three best friends, one elite summer camp, and a dark secret that leads to a body in the lake. So that sounds really interesting. Super sweet, super simple, but I'm excited. I really do like books about summer camps. I worked at a summer camp for quite a few years, and I just love them. They're so eerie and so creepy, and being alone in the middle of nowhere is definitely a trope that I really do like. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what summer reads or summer thrillers or Netgalley books that you were hoping to tackle soon, and I talk to you guys for my next video. Bye, friends.